Top stories tonight. The Thai baht hit a 28-month high against the dollar, fueled by strong demand from some offshore hedge funds and speculations of more liquidity coming from Japan. The Indo-China countries meet to renew efforts to boost their economic cooperation to accelerate regional growth ahead of the 5th ACMES summit in Laos. The French Development Agency has agreed to grant Cambodia a total of $47.7 million, $8.7 million of which is a loan to support the country's irrigation infrastructure investment. Catch the latest on the economic bid within the region with the Jewelry Gidisin and Satapat Patong. This is ASEAN Business Report.
Good evening on Tuesday, March 12, 2013. You are watching ASEAN Business Report, broadcasting live from Bangkok, Thailand. I am Satapat Patong.
And I am Jewelry Gidisin. And tonight with our top stories is going to start with the Thai currency, as the Thai baht has hit a 28-month low against the dollar, fueled by the strong demand for some offshore hedge funds and a 19-year peak of local shares. Now, the baht rose 0.6% to 29.54 per dollar, its strongest since November 2010, according to Thomson Reuters data. As of 3:54 GMT, the Thai currency was at 29.59, compared with Monday's close of 29.72. Asian currencies were supported after Kikuo Iwata, the nominee of the deputy governor of the Bank of Japan, said decisive monetary easing is needed. Kasikorn Bank's economist said the move up among the Asian currencies is led by speculations of more liquidity from Japan and in addition to the U.S. Bank of Thailand Deputy Governor Pongpen Reung Wirayut mentioned last week that the Monetary Authority is seeking to encourage outflows to ease pressure on the baht. Meanwhile, the yen currency fell to a 3.5-year low as the BOJ data showed that prices of goods paid by companies decreased for an 11th month, highlighting Japan's entrenched deflation. And we're still following up with this matter, Kun Satapat, and going for an outlook by the economists regarding this matter. And on the line with us right now is Kun Ming Kwan Thong Pruksa, the Regional Investment Department from the Kasikorn Research Center. Good evening.
Hi.
All right, thank you for joining our program today. Kun Ming Kwan, the first question is, what do you think are the factors of the appreciation of the baht today?
Hi, it's great to be here, Kun Jeravi. Sawadee ka.
Right.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right.
Actually, well, the baht appreciation is not a surprisingly new issue. This is what we have discussed so far since the beginning of this year. But the reason that it became the headline today is that Thai baht rose the most, as you have said already, to 28-month high, reaching 29.55 before closing down at 29.60. Well, comparing with 29.70 baht yesterday. So the reason of this historical high was due to the extensive purchasing by foreign investors. Well, through bond markets, through stock markets, bond market by 28 billion baht and stock market by 1.3 billion baht. This is one thing. Another thing for the baht appreciation is supported by the long-term outlook on Thai baht itself, which is just got upgraded from Fitch rating, as we all know, from BBB to BBB plus or stable outlook.
Right.
So those are the reasons why baht appreciating a lot today.
So there are many factors mixed up together.
Yeah, of course.
Now, if we take a look on one of the aspects regarding Japan's central bank, where it is going to likely appoint Haruhiko Kuroda as the bank's chief, and he has signaled a push for the monetary easing policy. How do you think that this could affect the Thai baht, because the yen currency is also the regional anchor currency?
Well, thank you so much. So as far as we are concerned, Well, there's an expectation on the new coming BOJ governor, you just said here, Haruhiko Kuroda, would come with the more aggressive monetary easing. Well, we have heard of 2% inflation target, of course, and we have heard of more QE and export competitiveness promotion policy. Now, what are the implications? The implication is that, well, you can expect now that more money will come in, let alone the QE from US already, or let alone the easing monetary stance from EU and Bank of England. So more liquidity will be flooded into the economic system. And given that Asia, well, ASEAN to be more specific, is one of the best destinations. So it is possible to see more flows would come into the region, including Thailand, and of course, Thai baht stands a high chance to strengthen or rising further.
Right.
All right, Kun Ming Kwan, if we look forward to the middle term period, how volatile do you think that the baht will be?
Well, according to K Group or Kasikorn Bank Group, we look at the Thai baht in the way that it would appreciate further, and it is possibly touched at 29.50 by the first half of this year. Therefore, moving up further to 29 baht by the end of this year, and we give the range of baht movement as something between 29 to 31 baht per US dollar.
I see. Well, thank you very much, Kun Ming Kwan, for joining us tonight and giving your outlooks.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Also, Kun Jerry, joining our program tonight is another guest from the Kiat Nakin Bank. He is the Vice President of the Economic and Industrial Research, Kun Piyasak Manasan, who is going to share his view on the currency situation, especially the Thai baht. Well, welcome to the program, Kun Piyasak.
Good evening, Kun Jerry, Kun Stapat.
Good evening. Kun Piyasak, with the matter of the Thai baht appreciation, how can the Thai Central Bank handle the situation in your opinion?
Yes, like you said, today Thai baht is around 29.54 baht, a 3.6% rise from the beginning of this year. Although the baht is one of the strongest currencies this year, I believe the Bank of Thailand would likely to allow the baht to appreciate further due to three reasons. First, the central banks around the world are expected to maintain the near zero interest rate and asset purchase, like the case of the Bank of Japan that you just said, which will lead to the capital flowing into Thailand. Second, Thailand export is expected to revive due to the reviving global demand recovery, which will lead to the flowing of capital into Thailand. And third, the interest rate differential seems to be attractive for the global investor. Like the 2-year government bond yield in Thailand is around 2.8 compared to the 0.25 in the US. So money will flowing into Thailand. But I think, like I said before, the Bank of Thailand would let the baht appreciate. But if the pace of the baht appreciation is increasing abruptly, for example, to 29.5 baht in a week or two, the Bank of Thailand could eventually force to act. If that is the case, I think the Bank of Thailand might intervene to slow the pace of baht appreciation, but that might lead to the need to sterilization and then lead to the loss of the Bank of Thailand financial statement. Or else, if the baht appreciation leads to the slowing down in export, then the Bank of Thailand could cut interest rates or impose capital control. But I think that would be the last two options of the Bank of Thailand.
So if the baht continues to appreciate in a long matter of time, that means that it will pressure BOT to do something about its interest rate policy. What would be one of the ways that that policy could turn out?
As I said, the interest rate cut would be one of the last options. I said that because the Bank of Thailand mandate is inflation targeting, so they concern about inflation as the most priority issue. Right. So if Thai economy is not slowing down significantly, I don't see any reason the Bank of Thailand will likely to cut interest rate. So I believe that if the economy is not deteriorate further, and especially export, if it not deteriorate, and I expect that by the later of this year, export will be reviving. And if that is the case, so a rate cut cannot is not the case for the near future.
All right. And as you are in the banking sector, Kun Piyasak, what would be the appropriate rate of baht in your view?
We at Kiat Nakin believe that the baht will be appreciated quite a lot this year. As I said before, because of the central bank around the world, they inject money in the name of QE in the US, in the England, and in Japan in the name of asset purchase program.
Right.
So we believe that we can see the 28 baht per US dollar by the end of this year. Maybe we can see around 29.3 baht by the second half of this year, I think.
I see. Thank you very much, Kun Piyasak, for joining us tonight and all those insights.
Okay, thank you, Kun Jaravi, Kun Stapat.
Thank you.
Well, as Kun Piyasak said, Kun Satapat, a lot of factors have to for us to keep in mind. And also, most recently, that is going to happen in the near future is the Bank of Japan, which is going to choose its new chief, the central bank chief. So Haruhiko Kuroda is going to be the main candidate who today he gave testimony at the Upper House Steering Committee, and he reiterated that the 2% inflation target should be achieved within 2 years, and that the BOJ should do whatever the bank can to achieve the inflation rate target. Now the odds are that his testimony, he also announced additional easing measures expected to be delivered on April the 4th, where he said today that the details of additional easing measures will need to be decided sooner. So it's moving towards what we've mentioned before, about the monetary easing policy. Right,
and now let's take a look on the play that we prepared about what he is going to do if he is appointed as the BOJ chief. So the first one, if he takes office, he will raise inflation from 1% to 2% in 2 years, and then he will boost stock market to 13,000 in the near term. Also, he will weaken the yen to boost exports, but the yen has already fallen 8% so far this year to 96% per $1 US. I mean 96 yen per $1 US.
Right, and he will also reflate the economy from recession, where the BOJ will purchase long-term securities of the government and purchase mortgage-backed securities, and it might intervene in the derivatives market to weaken the yen.
All right, and tomorrow, Kikuo Iwata and Hiroshi Nakaso, the Japanese government's nominees to become Bank of Japan deputy governors, will give their second round of testimony at the Upper House, and the final voting at the plenary session of both houses is expected to be made toward the end of this week.
Right, so there are 3 names there. Haruhiko Kuroda, who is our main man, and Kikuo Iwata and Hiroshi Nakaso. The latter two, Kuroda and Nakaso will likely be approved by both the houses, while Iwata, who is going to be nominated for the deputy governor of the BOJ, is going to be approved by the upper house. But there is a close call according to a report, because the DPJ, which is the largest opposition party in the upper house, appears to be reluctant to approve him because he has radical views towards the economic policy.
Right, and Kikuo Iwata supports conventional monetary policy, and BOJ official Hiroshi Nakaso has hands-on knowledge of the central bank's inner workings. And we are now taking a short break, but after a short break, we'll focus on the top story from Thailand, including that the fugitive former Thai Prime Minister yesterday instructed his sister's political party regarding the 2.2 trillion baht budget loan.